everybody, welcome to my channel, Crafts by KMW. This is Karen. Thank you so much for joining me and watching my channel and this video, and I hope you will enjoy it. So this is the first video that I've done based on a subscriber request. So I got a request to show how I use this stencil, which is a cloud stencil. And I was really excited. I think it's a great idea. So thank you so much for suggesting it. And I hope everyone will get something out of this video. Even if you don't have this cloud stencil, most of the techniques and processes I'm going to show and talk about could be applicable to any stencil. So I found this stencil by watching My Colorful Country Life. One of her color alongs was on this page that had these beautiful clouds. And lo and behold, she used this stencil. So I went right on Amazon and bought it. It is an expensive stencil. On Amazon, the regular price is $8.38. Right now, or as of last night, I don't know if right this second it is still on sale, but it was as of January 8th, 2023, 13% off for like $7 and some change. I don't remember exactly. And it's still expensive, even if it's on sale, but it is a really well-made stencil. It's pretty thick, and even when I lay it flat on my tablecloth, you can see the tablecloth through it, but not as well as you would with some other stencils. I have some stencils that are way, way thinner, and it's made out of good quality plastic. When you use it, it doesn't buckle or fold, so you get nice crisp lines, and it washes off really nicely. I've used this quite a few times. I've used it with ink, with gelatos, with chalk pastels, and it is absolutely 100% clean. And it stores really nicely as long as you store it either flat or upright in a folder or something that is wide enough to accommodate it. It's about 9 inches long, I think, and probably 3 inches wide at its widest point. So if you do want a stencil to help you make clouds, I would say that this is a really good one to get. However, there's one thing you do need to keep in mind. This stencil is not really going to make realistic clouds. It makes clouds with very finite edges, and it looks very scallopy. So it's more a stencil to make fantasy, fairy tale, ethereal clouds. It's not really for realistic clouds, and I would not use it to make realistic clouds. So just keep that in mind. If you want a stencil that you can use to give you really cool, dream-like clouds, then this is a great one to get. So let me show you a few pages that I have used this stencil on to show you how I've used it and the results I've gotten from it. So this is a page from Anastasia Ellie Caldereva. This is the book Blackbird Song. And as you can see, I use this stencil. Let me bring it in a little bit for you. So I've used this stencil, and I used it with chalk pastels. So it's very light, and I wanted it to be that way. I spaced the stencil about 1 inch apart each time I laid it down. And down on the bottom, it's even spaced out a little further. They're a little bit further apart. But I really like how it helps with the really dreamlike, ethereal, sorry, I'm trying to get my camera back up. with the ethereal, dreamlike quality of the page with this dragon floating in the air. So I thought that this stencil really helped to support the look of the illustration. And then the next book I used it in was Kirby Roseanne's Mythic World. So this is a double page spread. So this one I used blue ink, and I used the same color of ink throughout. I spaced the stencil a little bit closer together because this is a mythical creature that does not really exist. So I thought the more dreamlike and unrealistic the clouds look, the better. So I really like how this turned out. And again, this was another page where these dreamy, unrealistic clouds look really good. And then the last page is from Spirit Animals by Hannah Carlson. This is the copyright page. So all that was on this page before was the bird. And I wanted to color it because I want to color every page in this book that has some type of drawing on it. So I wanted to give our little bird friend some clouds to fly in. So when I thought about making it look different, because it's pretty much a whole page of clouds, I decided to use different colors. So I pulled out my Cat's Eye color box inks, and I chose pink, orange, purple, and blue. And I put the stencil, as you can see, fairly close together. And on this one, I really focused on going very dark next to the lines of the stencil. So right near the stencil, and then kind of lightening as I went up. So it would look as if the clouds were layered and 3D and not just laying flat on the page. I'm not sure if I achieved it, but I think it looks, all in all, I think it looks pretty good. I definitely would reverse the colors, I think, and probably go dark to light next time. Or I might do the pink before the orange, but overall, I think it makes this page look really fun and whimsical. So I was able to achieve the look that I was going for. So let's go ahead and look at how to use the stencil. So I just have some cardstock here. So this is the ink I'm going to use. This is by Doodlebug Design, and it's the Color Box Petal Point ink. This is really, really good ink. Hi, Finn. This is my cat, Finn, or a part of him. Okay, buddy, not right now. And I've had this container box of ink for about 20 years, and it is still juicy and wet and just as pigmented as it was the day that I bought it. I'm not sure if these inks are being made anymore. I don't know if Doodlebug Design is still in business. I have found it really hard to find more of these inks. If I do find them, it's on like eBay and the prices are really high, or it's in some place where, again, shipping would be really high. So I'm still continuing to look because I would love to buy more of these, but really good ink. But it really doesn't matter what ink you use. You could use anything. And then this is the applicator I'm going to use. I shared this in my top 14 products for 2022. And I bought this at Michael's. It comes in a set of, I think, 5. This is all different heads. Really, really nice applicator. Washes out really good. This is actually the color of the applicator. It's not stained. And it's really flexible, and the brushes, the bristles are stiff and thick, but soft and easy to use. So really, really love this brush. So I'm just gonna put my stencil across the page. So as you can see, this is an 8.5 by 11 size sheet of paper. So the stencil is extends about 1/2 inch. So it's about 9 inches wide or long, depending on how you see it. So I'm going to use my darker blue. So I just come along and rub along the edges of the stencil. And the key is to keep going over it several times. And I kind of try to feather the color up at the top. And you get a really nice crisp line. Now you may not always want that crisp of a line. You might want it to look a little lighter, as it did on a few of my pages that I showed you. So you want to put less ink on. You can always add more ink to your applicator. So it's good sometimes to start with less. And then again, you want to be rubbing and swirling. I'm using a circular motion mostly over the paper and the edge of the stencil. And you get a little lighter line, you get lighter ink on the paper. And again, you could just keep, without re-inking, if I do it again, I'll have even lighter. Now, it's really hard to get super light edges. And again, you would need to have very little ink on your applicator. Let me try it again and see if the edges look less crisp. I hardly have any ink on my applicator anymore. So they look a little less crisp here. So if you use less ink, you'll get a little less crisp lines. So I use the side with the smaller cloud edges on that one. So now let me show you, and this one I think I'll use purple. So that's how the larger edge looks, or the larger side looks. And again, I didn't have very much ink on there at all. If I did it again, it would show even lighter. I find that just going with a circular motion is the best. So there it is, and you have even lighter edges and lighter color above. You can mix colors, and you can even see a tiny bit of the blue under here. You can mix colors, and you can do whatever you want. You can also, one thing I like about this stencil is that you can move it around. So if I did my next row, I could start here. Let me add a little bit more ink. And then move this down and continue. And so you get nice variety with your rows. So you can vary it and have it, it doesn't have to look all liney the way mine is. One key that I would say to getting a nice look at the end, not looking like this, is when you, before you even start putting your applicator down, is to have your applicator going in a motion. So when I start, and I just put a little bit more ink on, I kind of start doing circles in the air. Now, it doesn't always work exactly the way I want it. Sometimes I do get a little ink, it gets a little darker, but if you keep going over it and over it and over it, you can make it blend in a little better. So that looks a little bit better, and it doesn't look like there's a big splotch of ink. So that's the cloud stencil. I hope this was helpful, because these ideas and practices can be used with pretty much any stencil that you have that's an edger stencil. So thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it. And if you are not a subscriber, I invite you to subscribe to my channel to get more content like this, such as color alongs and book flip throughs and supply hauls. So thank you so much for watching again. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I hope you get to spend a lot of time coloring and doing what makes you happy. Take care.